This is Best Ball Whenever, and my guest here, Bindles, has a hard out in 1 hour. So we're going to jump right into a draft, but I do want to make time first for a very public, I demand a public apology because if you weren't on the stream last night, I told the story of a couple days ago, I get a link from Bindles in the DMs. I get just a link, no explanation, link to a sleeper league. And I was like, I don't know what this is. I guess I'll go figure this out later. Like what this is, I'll go. I'm sure he sent me a message about it, and I just missed it. Whatever. So then I waited. The next day, I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna click this link, see what this is about. I get into a sleeper fantasy football league, and right away get a message from Bindle saying, "Sorry, Neil, this league filled." So it just sends me a random link, and then I go into the link, and he big times me right away. So I demand a public apology before we do our draft here, Bindles.
Yeah, I was gonna have Chat GPT write like a nice like formal letter so I could like put it on Twitter and stuff. But yeah, I apologize, Neil. I forget that not everyone has 50 dynasty leagues, and I'm like the commissioner of like 30 plus of those. So I'm just literally constantly firing out links, and I didn't give you any explanation or anything. And I also like sometimes they'll, like I said before stream, sometimes they'll fill like really quick, or sometimes like if it's a slower time, like it'll take a couple days. And so I just was firing off a bunch of links. So yeah, formal apology. Definitely was not trying to big time you whatsoever. So appreciate you still having me on the stream after that.
All right, I'm not totally buying it because here's what happened. Here's the timeline of events: is Bindles gets Pete Overzet on his stream, and then he just starts big timing people left and right. He's like, "I got Pete Overzet. I don't need you
No
guys
kidding.
anymore." No, I'm obviously joking. Bindles actually invited me back to be his co-manager in the league. That is how nice of a guy Bindles is. But I am in so many fantasy football leagues that I passed on that opportunity. Maybe we'll do another league at some point. We'll have to work out another league. Of course, you have. I say I'm in so many leagues. You are in 10 times more leagues than I am. So I don't know how you keep joining leagues, Mendels. You're a madman.
I mean, yeah, man, I don't know. It's like there's no good explanation for it if I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
I don't know how you do it. All right, we are about. I'm gonna jump right into a draft before we acknowledge chat because again, Bindles has a hard out. So if you want to draft with us, join us. All right.
Yeah, how was your weekend, Neil? I
It
saw
was
you said you went to a Twins game. Obviously,
I
the
did.
Wolves. Don't want to bring up a sore subject, but how was your weekend?
Yeah, so Twins lost, so that was not fun. The Wolves, yeah, it has been pretty rough this series for the Wolves. But honestly, I'm like, I'm still of the opinion that the Wolves exceeded expectations this year. Like a lot of people are like, oh my God, Cat's tarnishing his legacy. Ant went from being Jordan to Jordan Poole, like getting their jokes off about the Wolves. And I'm like, they made it through the Suns with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, like a really, really good Suns team. They swept a really good Suns team. Then they make it through arguably the best team in the league in the Nuggets, defending champions. Celtics, you can make the argument that they're the best team in the league, but they've had a really, really tough schedule, get through the first two series, and now they've lost three close games in the Western Conference Finals. Like, yeah, whatever. They're losing. They haven't been playing great. Like Cat and Ant both not shooting great. I don't care. I still think I still love this team. I'm not like whatever. They lose this series. Would have been fun to go to the finals. I still think that they have a shot also. So I'm not letting it get me down. Yeah, Tyler
Yeah,
says, let's get after it. Go Wolves. Absolutely. Let's go Wolves. Not counting them out until they're out of it because as somebody said on Twitter, they've already won 4 games in a row against a very good opponent. They can do it again.
I agree. I mean, yeah, they can get hot, and it's not like it's 3-0. So I mean, whatever. But I think if any team can do it, if Ant can just get super super hot, I think they can do it. So
Yeah, if they just shoot like average, if they weren't shooting so awful in this series, because and their defense has been I actually think their defense has been mostly fine. It's just been Dallas has been making great shots, and that's just the way it goes in the NBA. Best like great offense beats great defense. I think their great defense has been there. It's just Dallas is outperforming how they should be doing against this defense, and it's not really much you can do about that.
yeah,
Oh,
so much swings on just who makes threes and who doesn't. Like
yeah,
it's crazy how much of it boils down to that.
yeah, exactly. So we get in here. Jay Sarab makes it into this draft. John Sarabian, good to see him in here. We have Mr. in the 5 hole. Flat
Nice.
Tyler, I feel like I know the name Flat Tyler 83, but I'm not sure who
Red
that
badge,
is.
yeah.
Yeah. CLN
CLN.
in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the Discord. By the way, you should join the Flaniverse Discord if you haven't already. The link is in the description of this video. I know CLN in there, and then of course Jim Waller in here as well. A lot of, and then I feel like I recognize Jordan. A lot of names that I recognize in here. Some of them I know who they are. Some of them I don't. Should be a fun draft though.
Yeah, we'll have to utilize the private chat a little bit. Keep our cards so we don't show.
Yeah, right, exactly. Although this first one, easy enough to make the first pick. We'll just see what falls to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just took Justin Jefferson in that startup. I only have like 6% across like all those leagues in Dynasty. So I was like, he's like one of the hardest players to acquire, like outside of like a Josh Allen or like a Mahomes, it's like impossible. You want to go, I don't know if exposure wise you want to go Chase over Jefferson, but I'm fine Jefferson over Chase.
I have a bunch of shares of Chase.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go Jefferson in this one. I have more Chase than Jefferson, and of course I'm a Vikings fan, so I'll be watching every Vikings game. Let's take a Jefferson share.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I know Tyler. I was just listening to the Fantasy Sanctuary. Tyler was making the point that he is out on Jamar Chase where he's going, which I'm the opposite. I'm like I'm buying into this offense just being better. Like I just think that the Bengals offense with a healthy Burrow, healthy Chase is going to be better. He made some points about like maybe Jermaine Burton is better than Tyler Boyd, so there's going to be more target competition. Chase is at his best games with Higgins out, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I still think he's the best receiver on this team. I think he's going to get his as long as everybody's healthy. Do you have any hard takes on Chase?
I mean, I just think whatever. He was playing with Jake Browning last year, and I'm just not worried at all about him from like I think him and Jefferson, like talent wise, obviously Jefferson's kind of put it all together more. But I think in any given season and any given week, like Chase has the exact same upside as Jefferson, and he has a better quarterback. So I don't want to be fading him, a guy that can just absolutely bury me. So yeah, I definitely want my exposure to Chase there. Definitely will not be fading him. So
yeah, I mean, I've made the point several times, and of course I am a homer, but I do think that Justin Jefferson is probably the best receiver in the league. Certainly a better receiver than Chase, but just like Burrow over unknown like rookie quarterback or Sam Darnold is just it's a pretty big upgrade to have Joe Burrow over a rookie or Sam Darnold. So yeah, it's kind of a toss up for me between those two. But yeah, I have more Chase for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was when we were getting Jefferson 1-7. I mean, that was just pure wrong. Like I know there was like uncertainty there, but like I didn't get that one at all. I was scooping up as much as I could possibly get.
Yeah,
so.
that never made any sense. All right, so our pick is coming up. And after our pick, I'll have some comments for chat.
Yeah, let's see who is up here. Do you have I was gonna say go by ADP and let's just see. Nico Waddle. Okay, so I'm down for my choices would be Nico, Achan, or Waddle. Jacob Sanderson is like extremely high on Waddle. I've been taking a lot of them. Do you have any lean here between those three, or do you have another guy?
So I do have a ton of Waddle.
Okay.
I'd be fine going with another Waddle. I probably don't have too much Jefferson Waddle. Oh, they both have the same bye week. I see this, and that doesn't really matter for wide receivers as much as you're drafting so many. I still like sometimes I'll make it as if I'm torn between players, which I very much was there between Nico and Waddle. Sometimes I'll use it as a tiebreaker, but yeah, not the end of the world. But that is one of the things that I wanted to touch on. Is I see Neil Farley in chat here, and of course he's reacting to the Wolves loss. Another Neil Wolves fan, but Neil Farley also was just quoted, cited in Pete Overzet's made a video on his Deposit Kingdom about bye weeks. And of course, I have always been a bye week bro. And I think that Neil had some good data that sort of pointed to like you really can improve your advancement rate by paying attention to bye weeks, but that's particularly with, I think, quarterback position more than anything. I'll have to rewatch what it was exactly. But yeah, definitely quarterback, to a lesser extent, tight end, and then, oh shoot, we are on the clock. And then running back if you're not drafting that many. Who do you like in this kind of range?
I am I'm fine going running back here with Kyron or Achan, or my wide receiver pick would definitely be Neighbors. So yeah,
Let's go. All right. We are going the same bye week, but this is a running back, different position group. I don't really care as much anyway. Let's
okay.
go Achan. That's kind of a fun pick. I go back and forth on Achan. Like I do have concerns about his playing time this year with the coaches saying like, he needs to learn the offense. It was the latest quote is like, yeah, if he can learn the offense, he'll be great. And then I'm like, that makes me worried that like, was he not doing a good job of learning the offense last year? Is that why he never took on a more full time role? Is that why they went out and got Jalen Wright? So I do have some worries with HM, but when he's fallen past ADP, he's just such a talent that I'm going to be taking my shots there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, first of all, Neil, if you are still here, I'd be curious to hear if you have any reaction to or like additional thoughts on bye week. Like how much after doing all that research, I'm curious to hear to what extent you're factoring bye weeks or if you have any threads. I couldn't find any thread by Neil. The first thing I could find was Pete citing Neil, but I was looking for it last night because we had talked about it. But I'd be curious if you've written anything on bye weeks in particular and the importance of bye weeks outside of just the work that Pete cited. And Bindles, I'm also curious, are you a bye week bro? Is that something that you are focused on while you're drafting?
For quarterback and tight end, yes. For the other positions, no, not really. It,
Yeah.
it as simple as I can put it, but yeah, definitely quarterback and tight end, and I mean, whatever. If I can avoid it at all, like whatever. But I don't know. It's definitely not like the one of the first things I'm thinking about. But yeah. And then I really, yeah. Shout out to Neil Farley. I saw he was on a stream actually. Not a very small YouTuber, but it's Fantasy Grinder University. So go check that out. I think the guy only has a couple subscribers, but it was really cool to hear some of Neil Farley's thoughts because I know he puts out great information. So to see him on a stream was really cool because I don't think I've seen very many streams with him. I think a few, but yeah, always great to hear from him. So
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever actually seen Neil in a stream. I see him on Twitter. I see him in comments to streams. I don't think that I've actually seen, so I'll have to go check that out. You say fantasy? What was the name?
it's Fantasy Grinder University.
Okay.
I can put the link in the chat. Yeah.
Jewish McCaffrey says I pay attention to bye weeks more later in the draft than earlier. Yeah, I think I mean I start paying attention right away. But it's one of those things like if you're drafting 8 wide receivers, like I do pay attention to it. But yeah, for wide receivers, certainly I'll pay attention to it more later. But for like the positions that it matters more, the ones where you're taking fewer, so you got to be, I think, paying attention to it earlier on. But yeah, for sure, like that's wide receivers, running backs, you're definitely like that. That is, you don't need to worry about it as much early on. All right, so we are coming up.
Let's see here. Yeah, what's going on?
We're at pick 45.
We took one detour so far, so I'm TM Longacre is still Mr. still up here. I would probably lean. Let's see. Do we have any correlation? Miami is. We could go Cooper for the week 17, or no, Cooper for the week 17, or we could just go Trey McBride for the player I like slightly more. But we did take one detour already, so I think we can play it either way here.
I'm torn. I definitely like prefer taking McBride also in general, but I want to get I'm trying to bring up my exposure to Cooper, and this feels like a good place to do it because of the week 17 correlation. So we'll break the tie there that I just haven't drafted a ton of Cooper. I'm usually taking Christian Kirk over him. So I think I gotta take those shares here and there. All right, let's see. Here's Neil's response to those. That's where QB definitely matters most, but it does matter elsewhere. I posted about it like a year ago. I'm planning to redo some of that analysis with a bit of a different methodology soon. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, Neil, because it is one of those things that I've always like intuitively, I think it's right to pay attention to bye weeks. But I also, speaking of that video by Pete Overzet, he cited some of Easy's like boosts for correlation, and it did make me think, I probably need to be factoring in the week 17 game stacks more than I am. Like it's not something that I factor in particularly heavily. I think that like of streamers, I probably factor in the week 17 stuff or the game stack stuff, I should say, less than most. But I do think like putting an actual number on what that boost is worth kind of makes me like rethink like, okay, that actually is a kind of significant, something like a 6% boost on the bring back wide receivers. Like that's actually pretty significant. I probably should be paying closer attention to
Yeah,
that.
that's what I was asking Pete like about because I know he had Easy on last week. Okay, we're back up on the clock.
We are. So we have Andrews, Kincaid, James Cook would be my three favorites
I
here.
mean, you don't have to twist my arm to take Andrews if you want to take Andrews. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm glad to hear that because Andrews is my like favorite. I think he's probably my favorite fifth round pick.
I think
I'm
he's my
always taking
favorite
Andrews.
pick overall.
He might be mine too. Yeah.
I mean, we have like possibly I would say I mean every one of these guys could be the number one guy at their position in a given week. With obviously Jefferson, Waddle can give you crazy spike weeks. Ajan can give you crazy spike weeks. Cooper, we saw it last year in the playoffs, and Andrews. I think if I had to bet any tight end to like just lead the position in like points over a full season, I would definitely bet Andrews over the field. So yeah, I love the start. This has played out very well so far.
Yeah. No, I agree. I feel like this is going well. Yeah, probably not getting any kind of Houston ring back for Andrews, but that's again, I don't care about. Don't need to get every single secondary correlation on the team, so I'm good with just having Andrews one off there just for the talent. We've already built in some correlation. We got Jefferson in a dome in week 17. Things going well so far, I'd say.
Yeah, and I like that we have with Minnesota, Miami, and Cleveland, we have some late round quarterback options. Hopefully, we don't get locked out like I have in a couple of my drafts lately. But I think whatever, like it's some of that middle range that we can target, and whatever we have some other picks here where we can get some receivers and stuff to build out later. So
Yeah, no, we're off to a good start, I would say. Um, Tyler, good to see you. Yeah, we are on point with our outfits today. Very true. Very true.
yeah, I rocked the flannel. I rocked the flannel last week to try to match your vibe, and you weren't wearing a flannel. And now this week I'm not wearing a flannel, so we got to coordinate beforehand. So for the streaming,
For the double flannel.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a little bit chillier today in Minnesota. I mean, it's mid 60s, not like super chilly, but it's been rainy, so not quite the the V-neck weather that it was last week.
Yeah, it was hot last week.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Jewish McCaffrey. One random bye week thought. Are you willing to have May as your second quarterback with Allen and Mahomes, who have early bye weeks, knowing May not be the starter by then?
That's a good
Might
question.
not be the starter by then. Yeah, that's an interesting question. So I haven't been drafting a ton of May. I would be disinclined to have May as my second my if I'm only doing two quarterbacks as my second quarterback with a quarterback who has an early bye. Um, but there's still a possibility that he's a starting quarterback by then. So yeah, probably not something that I would do a ton of, but in a 150 set, and as much as Jewish McCaffrey drafts, I'm sure I would have some exposure to that.
Yeah, not something I'm like want to do, but if it happens and that just falls and I have some other pieces, I'm definitely whatever. It's not the worst thing in the world. So
Yeah. All right, let's see where we're at. So we could add Addison onto our Viking stack potentially, depending on if he goes. Kittle's still there. Uh, Godwin, I don't hate as a pick here, or actually Aaron Jones also if we want to add a Viking.
another
We've
running
got
back.
options. Yeah. Of course, he does
Um,
have the same bye week as Devin Achan, so that is the one downside.
True. Um, I kind of feel like we're gonna like the running backs in at our next pick, so I feel
Yep.
like we either go Godwin or McConkey. Um, do you have a lean there? I don't really have a lean between either of those. Obviously, one is more the rookie.
Yeah.
I kind of like Godwin, just like that gives us a very stable four.
I was kind of leaning Godwin in this team also. I don't know why exactly.
Gives us another
Um,
out to a Baker later on as well. So yeah, I like that. I mean, this is like right, like that should be a lot of bankable points between those four,
yep.
which helps us with flexibility later on. So
Yeah. Exactly. All right, so Brian Thomas Jr. I was also kind of thinking it's toss up for me between Ladd and Brian Thomas Jr. And I was like, one of those might make it back to us, whereas Godwin, I guess Godwin could have also, but sort of a different prototype.
Yeah,
So Godwin,
absolutely.
like, get the veteran, let one of the rookies come back. But of course, they both went. So that does not happen for us. So we have no quarterbacks. We have one running back, four receivers, one tight end. Debating what we want to do here. Could go
Yeah.
another. We could go another. Oh, I know Deontay Johnson. Let's talk about Deontay Johnson. Because I listened to your stream and also talked to Scott Barrett last night, and the buzz around Deontay Johnson lately is deafening. But let's do we want to make the pick of Deontay Johnson, or would you rather go with?
Um, I think I would lean with the four receivers. I think I would lean Aaron Jones for the correlation with Minnesota, and then or I'm trying, yeah, because I'm trying to think. Yeah, we could get like a Musgrave later or a Wicks or something later. So yeah. Why don't we
Sure.
go Aaron Jones? Because I mean, we already took our kind of projectable volume ish wide receiver four. So that makes me a little bit more inclined to take the faller in Aaron Jones with the correlation there. But yeah, Deontay Johnson. I just think, I mean, the quarterbacks last year was Pickett and Mason Rudolph, and just not a great environment. I think he kind of was like giving up on the team a little bit. But I think like just as a target earner, like he's the best target earner on that offense, and I think he's just going to get absolutely peppered with targets. So just like where he's going, like I don't get, like I think projectable volume wise, and just like we're kind of forgetting because of last season and how bad it went. I think he could be going like between him and Calvin Ridley. I think I prefer him if I'm being completely honest. And you go whatever. Like I think this whole tier is pretty much the same, but he's definitely a guy I'm betting on, and I'll have a lot of just because like and as late as he goes to get that projectable volume, I think it's a pretty good pick. And I love all my other Panthers guys as well. So
Right. That is true. You just like drafting those Panthers. Yeah, it's one of those things. I think both ETR and Leg Up, so the two ranking sets that I have used, both have him like pretty well past ADP, and that might have changed more recently, but at least I think the most recent times I've used those ranking sets, Deontay Johnson has been well past ADP. So I've been like, all right, I guess he's, typically I trust, I'm using the rankings of the people I trust, obviously.
yeah,
So I've been like, he's actually a player that I have moved up in the rankings and drafted here and there, but I've been like, if he's down the board in those ranking sets, I'm not going to be going out of my way to get a ton. But then I talked to Scott last night, and he's just like, no, those guys are wrong. Like you should be drafting a lot of Deontay Johnson. He's a great pick where he's going. So and then I hear that he's one of your comfy clicks also. So now I'm thinking, all right, I feel like I need to be probably trying to get more than the 4% Deontay Johnson, whatever I've been getting so far. Maybe I shouldn't be taking such a hard stance against him, because I do think he is like one of the harder players to project for this year because of the change of scenery, and then into an offense that is also changing pretty significantly with the coaching staff and all that. So it's, I don't know, definitely a harder player to project. So probably not somebody I want to be hard fading.
yeah. I mean, I can get the case against him. But I don't know. I've always been a Deontay truther, so it's probably just that shining through, my bias shining through. But I just think it's a way better situation, Canales, and I don't think Bryce Young is bad. Like I think he's a good
We
distributor type quarterback.
we're on the
Okay, so
clock. Jalen, any of these running backs look good to me.
yeah, if you want to go Warren, I'm fine with Warren. Or do we have any other correlation
You've
or
been
any?
Corain pilled, but I have also I like Warren quite a bit.
Yeah, I think he goes well with this running back room as well.
Yeah.
At least we have one running back not on a week 6 bye, and yeah, this is a really good range for Warren, and he gives you whatever standalone value and contingent upside. So I really like Warren.
Yeah, I like Warren quite a bit. I think he makes sense on this team. Sorry, I forget what you were saying before we made our pick.
Oh, just Deontay. Like I guess some people are just worried off of him just based on like kind of last year. I just don't. I still think he's really talented. I think he earns targets and he always has. So whatever. Same thing I've said a million times. So I don't want to keep repeating myself. But just the Panthers, it's a team just like at cost I want to be betting on, and I think he's the wide receiver one there. I love Leggett, but like it's like I want Leggett and Deontay and to fade Thielen. So I don't know. I just think he's going to earn like 8 or 9 targets a game. I think we're going to look back and we're going to be like, okay, we're taking a guy that's getting 150 targets in the 8th round. Like, why are we not taking him? So,
All right, so
we're
here,
back on the clock.
my inclination would be Zach Moss or Jaden Daniels generally.
Yeah, Jaden Daniels, we could backstack. Don't really love these receivers here. I mean, let's live a little and go Jaden Daniels. I feel
Love
like
it.
that's fun. Yeah.
That was a conversation that Scott and I had last night. That Chris Wecht is like Jaden Daniels is going way too late according to his projections, which I love to hear because I've been pretty in on Jaden Daniels recently. I didn't take him a ton in the pre-draft stuff. I had some, but not like well over the field. Whereas now I'm pretty in on Jaden Daniels, at least trying to be over the field. I feel like the upside is certainly there, and definitely Scott was making a good case for it. We had some comments that I wanted to touch on. Mad Sox says, would you prioritize a wide receiver 2 for your quarterback stack or an opposite team run back for a game stack? I generally I'm going to be taking that wide receiver 2. Like I'm definitely more focused on my primary stack than the bring back because the primary stack is for the entire season. Like
Yeah.
that correlation is for the regular season, week 16, week 15, 16, 17. Whereas the bring back is it's nice to have, but definitely prioritizing my primary stack there.
Yep. Agreed. Someone was talking about Musgrave. I think someone was saying on Pete's stream today that Kraft is out until like camp or something. So I think Kraft is a good player, but like I think if both of them are healthy, Musgrave is the like tight end one there. He has a super like fantasy friendly skill set, downfield usage, extremely athletic as well, and I love the Packers offense this year. So I think he should be going a lot higher than he is, and I think he definitely will rise as we get some of the Kraft injury news kind of permeating throughout the space a little bit more. So,
Yeah, that was so Scott brought that up on my stream last night. Also,
oh
the
really? Okay,
Kraft injury, which I had not heard of the Kraft injury until Scott brought it up yesterday, and that definitely like made a good point that it's like this gives Musgrave more of an opportunity to just win that job with Kraft being hurt. Like it's just like it's less likely that Kraft is going to come in and steal that job away from Musgrave. So it's funny because Musgrave has been falling pretty significantly. Like he's been like I've gotten him 20 picks past ADP recently
yeah,
several times, and now it's like oh okay now I feel like I need to be really focusing on Musgrave because obviously in a great offense now if we remove at least some of that Kraft threat, I feel like that should be a priority for us. So yeah, hopefully we can grab a Musgrave later on. And D. Owen says Musgrave, my favorite player on the board by ADP. Yeah, I think that with Kraft being hurt, definitely increases the chance of the second year breakout.
yeah. I think. I mean, the only reason I think he didn't play very much in like the playoff game or like after he
Yeah,
came back from injury, but like it's literally just purely based on the injury. Like I think if you're just taking like okay, which guy is more whatever, just I think Musgrave is way more talented than Kraft, and Kraft is just he's solid. Like if he needs to just step in a good offense, he'll be fine. But like not a priority for me at all. So.
so Caleb Williams falling well past ADP here. That's interesting. We have no correlation, really not much you can backstep with other than Komet.
Yeah.
So I'm less inclined to do that. We do have Dobbs here, who I have not drafted a ton of, but he is week 17 correlation with our
Yeah.
Minnesota guys. Of course, I'm a Wicks guy, but we
Yeah.
could take a random Dobbs share. We
Do
go
it.
Josh Palmer. What do you
I was
think?
gonna say Palmer or Dobbs. I haven't taken any Dobbs just because, as you said, I'm. Yeah, let's go Dobbs. I mean, I feel like we got to. I don't want zero.
Yeah,
And this is. Yeah, I think it's a fine. It's a little bit past ADP as well, so
past
I'm fine
ADP,
with it.
some correlation. Yeah, it's a tough click for me because I'm like I don't. He's probably my least favorite of the Packers quartet of receivers. So I'm like, yeah, pretty out unless he falls past ADP. But this is exactly the kind of situation, the scenario where you take him. He is playing the Vikings in Week 17 in a dome, and maybe he ends up higher on the depth chart than I'm anticipating.
Yeah, and then Tua. I wanted to push Tua just because of Caleb there, but
Yeah,
he does go, which is fine. Let's see what else do we have going on here.
Jacoby Myers is there.
Yeah, maybe we should have taken Tua, but that's okay.
We can take we can take McCarthy later on for the Viking stack.
Yeah, do we want to go another receiver here? Or I mean, we can honestly, if you want to reach up for Wicks, I don't really give a shit. If we want to just get Wicks and for our bring back.
He's not coming back to us with all the
Yeah.
steam he's been getting. He used to fall all the time. He'd be a guy you can get in at like 155 pretty regularly. Now it's everybody's steamed him up so much that he just doesn't fall like he used to.
Yeah, I like that. We get we get a little bit of value on Dobbs, and then we pull up Wicks, and then I feel like it's like we should be getting at least one, and who knows, maybe Dobbs, maybe Watson gets hurt, and maybe Dobbs and Wicks are the two receivers you need there. And I mean, I like Jaden Reed. I'm just not like the cost is just crazy to me. At like what pick 50 or it's like 48 or something like that. I get it, second year guy, but I just think it's so ambiguous that I want to be targeting the cheaper guys, like you said. And yeah, whatever. Two shots there, and maybe we can tack on a Musgrave later on. So yeah,
right. Yeah, build out that secondary correlation with the Packers. I like that. Den, good point. Nobody does grind harder than Neil O. I mean, a lot of people do, but we'll pretend like nobody does. And he's right. You should like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join the Discord, which is in the link in the description of this video. Thanks for the reminder. Den, looks like a new Underdog contest just dropped, according to multiple people in our chat. Apparently, just announced it.
I like
Greyhound single entry $35 tournament. I like it, except for it's a single entry, which means I only get to draft one, and then I don't have that contest anymore. So, but yeah, I like it also.
Yeah, I feel like they just need to like drop, just like always have like a $5 or under tournament, just go into just satiate the sickos, so we don't always have to be drafting BBMs. But yeah.
Ben, good morning. Are you in this draft? I know Ben has been in our drafts before, but I forget the username. I'm trying to see if I remember it. No, I don't remember. All right. So this team, we are at 1 quarterback, 3 running backs, 6 receivers, 1 tight end. Feel good about that start. I don't feel good about the fact that we have Jaden Daniels unstacked as our only quarterback. We can fix that pretty easily. We have Devin Achane, Aaron Jones, Jalen Warren at running back. At wide receiver, we have Justin Jefferson, Jalen Waddle, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Romeo Dobbs, Dontavian Wicks. And at tight end, we have Mark Andrews. So I think a pretty good start here. Man, Caleb is still falling.
Each.
I mean, at some point, we got to think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Komet. I don't know if we might be able to double tap Caleb and Komet there. I don't love Komet, but
I don't either. Yeah, I mean, this is the age old question. Like, how far do you have to like wait for a quarterback to fall before you'll take him completely unstacked if you don't have backstack? Okay, Flat Tyler, thank you for taking Caleb as your third.
we don't have to debate it.
Yeah, we don't have to think about it. But that was like, it's getting to the point where we have to at least like, all right, who can I throw on for that backstack?
Yeah, you have to consider it at a certain point. That's like one of the hardest things to wrestle with is like unstacked quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another Packers option there in Marshawn Lloyd. We do have Komet there. We could put Freiermuth on here. We do have Jalen Warren, so we could build out a little Pittsburgh stack if we wanted to.
I think I lean Lloyd. I like Lloyd or Polk probably.
All right, I like Lloyd better than Polk, so I'm going to do that.
Okay. Yeah, some. I think who was it? Jacob Sanderson, and there was a couple other people where they're just like Polk, second round draft capital, ambiguous room. Like just based on that, they think he should be going like 20 to 30 picks higher. I think Crane too is in on Polk as well. Obviously he's like the most expensive receiving option there, so it's that age old conundrum of just do you take the cheaper guys? But I want to make a bet on the draft capital and on just Drake May being really good. And so it's a little bit ambiguous, which I understand is pushing him down a little bit, but I'm pretty into Polk as well.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I guess part of my hesitation is also like some people in the industry are just like, yeah, well, Javon Baker is just objectively better also. So I'm like, there are just like little reasons that I'm like, I feel like I don't get excited clicking that name for what it is. I feel feels better to me to click Jermaine Burton or Roman Wilson. Like for whatever reason, I have it's a comfier click for me. But I probably need to overcome my bias against New England receivers at some point.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Panthers thing. It's just like if Drake May is really good, and I think he is. Okay, so we do.
Musgrave? Or do you see something else you like?
Yeah, I mean Musgrave or I kind of like Musgrave. It's just one of those rookie receivers would be kind of fun. I wonder if we. I don't think Musgrave's going to come back to us though. So if we just want to be done with tight end, we can just be
Let's think about it. Or actually, Sinnott is part of our stack.
yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Just get something stacked with Jaden
At least
Daniels.
one stack. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he's the same bye week. Well, that's all right. Well,
Classic.
whatever.
We played ourselves. That's
We at tight end, I feel like it's a onesie position, so like it matters, but also like you're not foregoing 20 points during the bye week like you are with quarterback. It's like, oh, I'm giving up 6 points of projection by having taken a zero, and we can obviously still throw another tight end on there. So not the end of the world.
yeah, and we can go two quarterback with Daniels and another one stacked up. So I think whatever, not optimal, but I think it's fine with the stack. I don't mind it
Yeah.
at all.
I will update on our team because we just had a question asking if we got Palmer earlier. So I'll just give you the recap. We didn't. I definitely would have taken Herbert there if we had. But we went Jaden Daniel. We have Jaden Daniels at quarterback. At running back, we have Devin Achan, Aaron Jones, Jalen Warren, and Marshawn Lloyd. At wide receiver, we have Justin Jefferson, Jalen Waddle, Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Romeo Dobbs, and Dontavian Wicks. And at tight end, we have Mark Andrews and Ben Sinnott. So again, I still feel good about this team. We now have at least a stack with our quarterback. I'm not super in on Ben Sinnott. I don't think I'm like kind of like I'm drafting him usually just when he falls or when I take Jaden Daniels. I'm basically not taking him unless I have Jaden Daniels or I need another tight end and he falls well past ADP. Like I do have pretty serious concerns that he's just going to be more of a fullback and not catch enough passes to be worth it. But I don't know if that's a valid concern. Where are you at on Ben Sinnott?
Pretty similar. Like I like him. I liked his profile coming in. He got the second round draft capital. Um, but I do think it's a little bit of like so many young, either second year or rookie tight ends hit last year that we're just kind of like pushing that forward into this year. So I think where he's going is fine, but he's not like like it's in stacks or if he falls, like you said, but not a guy I'm just like one off taking a lot. So.
Yeah. This is a really good question from Jewish McCaffrey. Jaden Daniels, are you more often doing 2 quarterback builds with him or 3 quarterback builds? For me, it kind of depends on if he is my first quarterback or my second. Like if he's my second quarterback, then I'm just done at quarterback with him. If I take him as my first quarterback, I think I'm still generally inclined to have him as on a 2 quarterback build, but also like I feel more inclined to single stack him, like, or I don't need to force the double stack as much with Jaden McDaniels, which makes it easier to do 3 quarterback stacks if you're not trying to double stack all of your quarterbacks. So I think you can go either way with the 2 or 3 quarterback build with Jaden Daniels. Do you have a strong opinion on the Spindles?
I mean, I think I lean definitely two quarterback. Just because I think he is mispriced, and I think he
Yeah,
will rise up. I like Kyler better, but I think he should be going closer to that like Kyler Jordan Love range.
agreed.
So if I'm just thinking of it through that lens, then I'd rather go two. But I'm always willing to tack on a third quarterback if it's stacked. So yeah, lean to two, but not like like sure thing, like need to go two with him as well. So
Yeah, just doubling down on him as an elite quarterback. Like we're making the bet. I mean, we're not really making the bet that he's an elite quarterback, but like I kind of like doubling down on the thought process of I get him at this pick, and now I'm just going to treat him like an elite quarterback, get kind of a fun, unique build. So I like the idea of Musgrave goes 1 pick before us, Mister,
oof,
you scoundrel. Do you
sniped
want to
us.
take? Um, we could go Jawan Johnson. We could go.
We could go. I feel like quarterback Watson for our Amari
True.
Cooper thing or Baker. I kind of lean Watson, honestly. It's a little scary. It's not a
You are
comfy.
now officially canceled, making me take Deshaun Watson.
Throw me off the stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like both. Like, he's a terrible human being, but this late, especially like he's picked 165 here. Like
Yeah.
he
We were
was.
taking him what 80 overall last year. I don't think he's good, but also we've seen him be really good in the past. So yeah, I think he kind of like he's fair because he has such a wide range of outcomes, and it's basically we've seen his range of outcomes. Like he could be what he was last year, which is just a quarterback who doesn't give a shit, or it could be MVP caliber quarterback from a few years ago, which is obviously unlikely. Most likely, he's probably going to be somewhere in between.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah, I think
I
he's
just
fine
I
there.
like him too because he sneakily still brings a lot of rushing floor as well. So it just like I feel like people kind of they think of him as a pocket passer, but he actually brings like a good amount of rushing. Okay, so
All right, so here are my thoughts. So we could add Luke McCaffrey onto our stack. We could go Jawan Johnson, be done at tight end, or Tyrone Tracy makes some sense.
I like McCaffrey. Yeah, take
Okay.
another Pete Washington piece. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it's funny. I just said that I don't feel the need to double stack with Jaden Daniels, and yet I feel like I end up double stacking him almost every time, regardless of like either I have Terry McLaurin and I throw on a Sinnott or a Luke McCaffrey, or I don't take McLaurin and add on both. Like I'm just often double stacking him anyway, even though I don't think it's necessary.
I mean, I think at cost it just makes sense. I mean, I don't know if Luke McCaffrey's that good, but like this is such a low price for him, and I mean Dotson was just so bad last
Yeah.
year. If you can just make the bet against Dotson and just say, hey, Luke McCaffrey's going to be wide receiver 2 there, whatever that you could pay off huge at this cost. So
Yeah. Mr. Mister says, yeah, we are building the same stack, the Vikings Packers. We're fighting for those players,
oh
and we are right
god,
next to each other. Yeah, so hopefully we do fight each other in the playoffs in Week 17 with those game stacks. That'd be fun.
that would be very fun. Yeah, I mean, I would have been fine with Musgrave there, but it's like we have Andrews and we already have our second tight end. So it's
Yeah.
like I probably would have taken him and then maybe gotten Watson or another quarterback on the way back. But I don't know. I'm not like that sad about missing out on Musgrave.
I'm not either. Yeah. And now here's where like having that conversation about 2 or 3 quarterbacks with Jaden Daniels. If JJ McCarthy comes back to us, like, should we think about it? I don't know. I guess maybe Mr. Mister's going to take him also. He has 2 quarterbacks. I don't know. We could think about JJ McCarthy with one of our picks,
Yeah, and then
or just be done at quarterback.
we have 7 receivers too. So I think I would lean running back and probably quarterback here on our next 2 picks with the 4 running backs we have. I feel pretty solid. But yeah, I think this is a good range before running back gets super gross, depending on who falls to us here. But yeah, let's see what happens. I'm definitely down to tack on JJ McCarthy there with our Justin Jefferson.
Mad Sox says that he's stacked Jaden Daniels with Eckler once. Yeah, I don't hate that. That kind of makes some sense. Mr. Mister confirming that he is done at quarterback, not going forward. McCarthy, and yeah, CLM. We'll take a look at how your team is looking before we make our. Actually, maybe we'll wait till after we make our pick.
Yeah, we can sauce him in a second.
Yeah.
Devontae Walker going higher and higher every draft. It seems like Pete was not like keeping up, but like he was higher on Devontae Walker than I have been. Over Bateman as well. I think we took Devontae Walker. So interesting to see some people are just leaning into the black box of maybe he's the late round Baltimore guy you need.
All right, J.K. Dobbins goes. That was going to be my lean. Was J.K. Dobbins?
Yeah. What other running backs are here? Can you just tab to running back really quick?
Yep. So we have Eli Mitchell, Tank Bigsby, Audric Estime.
Oh man,
I don't hate Estime. He feels like a kind of a fun upside bet.
I almost feel like we take JJ first and just see what these running backs are so flat to me. Nope.
All right. We got JJ.
Like all these running backs are like, I think their ADPs are all way later, not way later, like 10 or more picks after. So
True.
I say we just take whatever falls to us here. I'm trying to think, is there any other receivers that make sense here? And then we just take.
We could take Eli Moore with the Cleveland stack.
Yeah. What
I
else
don't
for
think I'm taking any late round
Minnesota?
Minnesota receivers.
Yeah. So
Could
do we
do
want to?
I'm blanking on his name now. I keep on wanting to say Boone, but it's not Boone. Brandon Powell is who I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Actually,
I'm fine with estimate as a just we don't know what's going to happen in Denver bet.
when I don't get Jaleel McLaughlin, I like to take Estime or Blake Watson. I think they're both kind of fun late round picks. Um, yeah, I like the pick of Estime.
So for our last pick here, do you think we go a third tight end here, knowing that we have the two guys in the same buy, or do we want to go running back here, just knowing we have two rookies there? Hmm.
So we need week 6 to cover for because both Achan and Jones are gone. So right now in week 6, all we have is Jalen Warren, Marshawn Lloyd, Audric Estime.
Yeah, it doesn't feel
Um,
great.
doesn't feel great. Doesn't feel
Let's see
that
what
bad,
falls
but
to us.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I would say it probably comes down to running back or tight end though.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like a third tight end, like if it gives us like you said, like is it 6 extra points in week 14? I don't know if it really matters that much, especially because like we're just betting on Andrews just absolutely crushing the rest of the season. So um, I don't know. Let's see what falls to us. We could go our boy Tucker Craft if he falls to us if we after shit talking him
Yeah,
earlier.
exactly. Now that we've decided that he's not going to be the tight end to worry about, yeah, we could think about that.
Just
I kind of like Noah Fant, and I know Sacrilegious has been in on him. Um, let's see, do we have any like? Oh yeah, I guess we already have a couple pieces of the Packers though, 3 pieces actually of the Packers with Marshawn Lloyd.
yeah.
Um,
Don't think we need to overstack
who
it.
does Cleveland? Oh, they play Miami, so we have that. Oh, we could take. I guess Janu is here. We could take Janu.
Yeah, we could do Janu. Janu or Fant definitely makes sense. Those are like if either of them fall, I'm definitely down for one of those.
Yeah.
And then running back, is there somebody that we could do Foreman with the Cleveland Miami thing as well if he falls to
Is he still
us?
here?
Did he
Wait.
go? He's been going higher. I think Karain was talking him up, and so he's been going a lot earlier than he was. Like he was a bit.
Yeah.
I think I was checking the what is it BBMDB. I have it pulled up here. He was like going undrafted. Like I think he was only drafted like 23% of the time or something. Let me pull up Foreman really quick. So now he's up to 50%, and
Oh,
his ADP is 197. He was going like 20 picks later. So yeah, definitely getting the Patty Millions bump there. So
yeah. People making the point that we could take Josh Oliver here too. Until Hawkinson returns, he's probably of course, we need him for week 14 when probably Hawkinson will be back. Should we? Do you want to just go Janu, or do you see
I
a?
like Janu. I like Janu. I think he can give you some upside there as our third tight end. Cover for Sinnott if Sinnott does start slow.
Yeah,
I think Janu is, especially with other pieces in that game. I do think he has like blow up week potential.
yeah.
I don't love him like as a pick. Like he was going a lot earlier. It seems like pick 180 something a lot of times. Don't love him there, but like in the last round,
Where he's going now, yeah, it feels like a fair bet for a piece of that Miami offense. So Bindles, I know you need to get out of here. I was we said we were going to talk about CLN's team, but do you have time to look at it, or do you need to
yeah,
get
I got
going?
a couple minutes. Why don't we run through his team and then I'll
All right.
I'll hop off.
Yeah, so CLN's team is Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins at running back. He has Kyron Williams, Najee Harris, Chase Brown, Nick Chubb, Tyrone Tracy, CEH. At wide receiver, he has Puka Nakua, Drake London, Calvin Ridley, Rashi Rice, Mike Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Darnell Mooney, Jalen Hyatt. And at tight end, he has Travis Kelce and Tyler Conklin. So that Kansas City stack, he has Kelce, Rashi Rice with Mahomes. And then he has, with Cousins, he has Drake London, Darnell Mooney. Doesn't look like any bring back on Washington or Pittsburgh. So no week 17 bring back, but honestly not that big of a deal. I think this looks like a perfectly good team. What do you think, Bindles?
Yeah, it's I always find it hard when there's guys that I don't take a lot, but I think it's like at the cost. Like Chubb at pick 136, I think that's probably where he should be going. So that feels fine. And then some of the receivers he took later, I don't love, but like at that point, it's like it's kind of get your guy anyway. So yeah,
Oh,
I think it's perfect. It's constructed well from a construction standpoint. Some of the players I don't love, but I think whatever. I'm not 100% right on my player takes, so
yeah. I
definitely.
mean, like Nick Chubb, somebody that I'm out on, but at pick 136, like that just feels like a good bet. Like that is the time to get Nick Chubb when he's fallen well past ADP. As you said, he does have Najee for the bring back in that Chiefs stack. Gets Kirk Cousins well past ADP, so I would say, yeah, he was got Mahomes at 57. Like he really did scoop up some really nice values on this team.
Yeah.
So I think it actually, yeah, it looks quite good in my opinion.
Yeah, I like the CEH pick, last round CEH pick as well. Chiefs RB2, pretty good cost there. So
Yep, yep. All right, Bindles. I know that you need to get going to a meeting, but before you go, do you want to let people know where they can find you, what they should check out?
yeah, so go check out my stream with Pete, like we talked about in the beginning. Getting good reviews on that.
That was really fun. Yeah, go
Yeah,
check that
it
out.
was fun. He could let loose a little bit. Like I feel like now that he's like a little bit more whatever, he has more responsibility. He's a little bit more dialed in. So it was nice to
Yeah,
get him the after dark was very fun.
yeah.
Thursday, Super Stack Bros, new channel with PPR Tyler and Best Ball Guy. Go check out them and go check out Super Stack Bros. Not sure what my other stream will be this week. It's my girlfriend's birthday this week, so it's a little bit of a different schedule. But I think I'm going to do Thursday, either before or after that Super Stack Bros stream. So yeah,
Cool.
go check it out and make sure to like the video and sub to Neil if you're not, and join the Discord. I'm in there and trying to get that community built up. So
Yeah, for sure. Trying to grow the Discord. So go check that out. And of course, Bindles. The link to Bindles' YouTube channel also in the description here. I don't think I put the Super Stack Bros one in. That's a different YouTube channel, right?
yes, separate channel. We just started it. Only one stream technically so far on there. The
Okay.
first one was on my channel, but yeah, we have some fun ideas. We're going to meet later today to try to like think up what we're going to do going forward. But yeah, should eventually we're going to have a Discord for that as well. Not it's in the works, but yeah, go check that out.
Okay, and you can find Bindles on Twitter/X at Bindles90, and he will post all of that as it becomes available. So go follow Bindles there as well. All right, thanks a lot, Bindles. Good luck with your meeting.
Thanks so much, Neil. Thanks for having me on, and yeah, have a good second draft.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I'm going to jump into another draft here for anybody else who wants to join. Yes, we talked about this a little bit. The new single entry $35 contest. I think I'm going to do another BBM here for now, trying to get these all out of the way. Because I gotta save those for when I'm not streaming, because I need something to draft in the evenings or when I'm working out, whatever. So let's jump into another BBM draft here. I guess we can actually, before I do that, I will take a look quickly at the other teams that draft with us. So John Sarabian joined us. He has Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield. Of course, he didn't even comment. I guess I should just do people who commented, but because I know John, I'm just going to go over it. Dak Prescott, Baker Mayfield. I'm curious how he drafts. He has Alvin Kamara, James Conner, Trey Benson. So he does the cuckold, the hand cuck running back thing. Gets Gus Edwards, Zeke Elliott, Kamani Vidal. At wide receiver, he has CeeDee Lamb, Mike Evans, Devontae Smith, George Pickens, Marquise Brown, Roman Wilson, Jalen Tolbert. And at tight end, he has Kate Otten, Chigakonkwo, and Luke Schoonmaker. So he scrolled the F down for Luke Schoonmaker there. From stacking, he has, part of the stack. So he has Dak with Zeke, Schoonmaker, and CeeDee, and Jalen Tolbert. So he goes mega stack. I like that. And he has Baker with Evans and Kate Otten, the double stack there. Yeah, I really like that. Team looks good to me from my perspective. Mr. ends up with Jordan Love and Jared Goff. We're going NFC North. Goes Josh Jacobs, Zach Moss, Rico Dowdle, Bucky Irving, J.K. Dobbins. At wide receiver, he has Amon-Ra St. Brown, Debo Samuel, Jaden Reed, Jordan Addison, Christian Watson, Jermaine Burton, Demarcus Robinson, Khalif Raymond. And then at tight end, he has Sam Laporta, T.J. Hawkinson, Luke Musgrave. So goes in on the NFC North. Does not do the NFC North minus Detroit plus Seattle stack that I kind of like to do sometimes for the playoff weeks because they all play each other. But that looks fun going all in on the NFC North. Some nice playoff week game stacking going on there. I don't think Flat Tyler wasn't here, right? In chat. I'll just go over CLM we just did. Jim, of course, in chat. Jim goes Jalen Hurts and Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. At running back, he has James Cook, Devin Singletary, Brian Robinson, Jerome Ford, Chuba Hubbard, Will Shipley. At wide receiver, he has A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins, Gabe Davis, Jalen Polk, Malachi Corley, Darius Slayton. And at tight end, he has Dalton Kincaid and Jake Ferguson. So he has Hurts stacked with Will Shipley, A.J. Brown, just those two. And then he has Aaron Rodgers stacked with Garrett Wilson and Malachi Corley. So looks good. Yeah, a lot of nice looking teams here. Should be a competitive group that we're in here. I'll see if anybody else commented. Yep. Okay. So we're going to move on and do another draft. If anybody wants to get in draft with me, going to be jumping into another BBM right now. I know some of you are itching to do your single entry, but I got to save that for off stream. So come do a BBM with me if you are interested in drafting with me. Yeah, CLN, you killed it with the ADP value on that team. Agree with Tyler? Yeah, please like the video. And again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Doing content 4 days a week, typically right now. Unclear if that's going to change as we get closer to DFS season. Not sure what I'm going to be doing for like DFS on this channel, but I'll be doing a lot of different content throughout the summer. Probably do some shorts along the way, shorter videos along with my live streams. C40 gets the Chat Influencer 101. Snatch Catchers. Nice. Yeah, you changed your name again, Chris. I was like C40. I didn't realize that was you. Okay. Yeah, Chris gets that Chat Influencer 101. Love that. Mr. gets the 103. I'm at the 106. CLN at the 107. John in this draft as well. And then I don't think I've ever seen Fish Finders. Uh-oh. They found us. They found us. All right, well, congrats. You found the fish. Christian McCaffrey, we're going chalk with the 101, Chris. I don't think I know T-Steph. Yeah. Anybody else that I didn't mention in chat? What up, John? Yeah, John, you should come on. I didn't know that you were a best ball bro. You should come on and do a stream with me sometime. That'd be fun. Talk about Ant. You're also a huge Ant fan, right? Oh shit, I'm on the clock. I mean, Justin Jefferson right there. Just gonna get my guy. Oh, I didn't even notice that you had Bills. I can't remember who the Bills play in week 17, Jim. Is it Bills Jets? I'm trying to remember. I feel like I knew this at one point. Haven't memorized the week 17s yet. John goes A.J. Brown. CLN Amon-Ra over Breece Hall, which I think is typically what I do also, although it was interesting hearing Scott say last night that he would have Breece Hall at the 103, so I probably need to be focusing on getting a little bit more Breece Hall as well. This is a good question, Spurious News. I draft them according to ADP. Because I'm doing so many drafts and I want to have exposure to all of them. If I were not, I don't know, that is really tough. I think that I do have CeeDee Lamb as the number 1 receiver. I am sort of inclined to go Chase as the 2. I don't know why. I'm like for some reason that I can't quite explain. I'm like, I think the age cliff. I'm a little bit concerned about Tyreek Hill, his age. I'm like, man, it just feels he feels more risky for some reason than the other receivers in this range. But I felt like that last year too, and he absolutely crushed. So probably should just be taking them. I just draft them according to ADP. If I were ranking them, I might not. I might, I feel less safe with the click on Tyreek Hill. I think just because of the age, doesn't have a great matchup with Cleveland in Week 17, so not my favorite of the group. But I think that that's just one of those biases that is probably incorrect. All right. Similarly with like Devontae Adams, I'm just like, I don't want to click on the old guy, but probably should. He's also got the 3 dome games in the playoffs. So yeah, just going to do it with Devontae Adams there. Jefferson Adams is a pretty strong start, I'd say. Nice ceiling. Yeah, Brees Hall kind of falls all over the board. I have not seen him fall all the way to the 12. That's kind of nuts. Yeah, I take him all day at the 112. Yeah, ARSB at the 104. That's the thing. It's like I feel like it's pretty flat there. I don't have a strong like preference among that group. So again, I just draft according to ADP generally in the first round because I want to have exposure to everybody. I am a bit tired today and have softball tonight, which is always a recipe for disaster. These are the games where I have trouble finding the strike zone as the pitcher. But gonna have to, buck up, get my head in the game. Maybe I'll throw a few warm-up pitches. I don't always throw warm-up pitches for softball. Maybe I'll try it today. Jefferson Devontae. Kind of like Neighbors here. Honestly, a lot of picks I like right here. Kind of hard to go wrong. Mr. Mister takes Devontae Smith a little bit ahead of ADP. I feel like I've seen him rising in the ranks. Yeah, I guess his ADP is up to 30. I feel like it was like 36-ish before. You could often get the double tap at the turn previously. I'm going to go Neighbors here. Yeah. I like Neighbors. I actually don't hate the landing spot in New York, even though I'm not a huge believer in Daniel Jones. I just think he's going to be the number 1 receiver right away. He's gonna just get volume there. So I'll take it. And also Daniel Jones, like he's good enough to make receivers good, I think. So yeah, I'm very much in on Neighbors. Yeah, that's a fun start. ARSB, Debo, and Laporta. I don't think it's that chalk. I think that's maybe it will be. Maybe I guess it's kind of a new thing to know the schedule, so maybe it's becoming chalk. But I don't think I've actually seen that start yet, so I don't think it's too chalky. Also, let's see. ARSB usually goes. I guess he usually goes to the 7, so it would be Laporta a little bit past ADP at 31, so maybe a little bit tough to go here. Easier to get if you reach on ARSB. Then you get Laporta closer to ADP here. So yeah, I would guess it's not all that chalky. One of those like reach a little bit to get a unique construction kind of a builds. Dallas, Philadelphia, week 17. Pushing him up to CD drafter. My start is likely chalky. Dallas. Oh, because you got Devontae. Gotcha. All right, I missed that. Okay, so I guess I have seen it. I have seen it at least once. Did you reach to get ARSB or did you get Laporta all the way at 31. I didn't know. Didn't remember that. All right, we're going piss, bro. We've got only two other teams that start with three receivers in TM Longacre and TG. Every other team, actually, CLN has three receivers start as well. Don't hate Tank Dell here. Haven't taken a lot of Josh Jacobs, but I don't hate the pick where he's going. Great role in Green Bay. Slight concern about Lloyd, but got that concern with almost everybody. I often take Lamar Jackson here. Kind of want to just add on to my stack, though. Or, sorry, onto my wide receiver group. I think I'm going to do that. Probably staying in Cincinnati, also as Joe Burrow as quarterback. Probably healthy this year. So, yeah, last year he was a round two receiver. I think this year he, falls a little bit because of uncertainty with is he going to still be on Cincinnati as part of it, and also Burrow was hurt last year, so the offense didn't look as good. So I think that probably there's going to be a return to form in Cincinnati. So I like Higgins as a fourth rounder for sure. Gotcha. So you did the same thing. You reached on ARSB. Yeah, I like it. It's still probably somewhat unique because you have to reach in the first round to get that construction. So probably not that chalky. CMC. So you had Debo fall to you a little bit to get that start. CMC, Debo, Laporta. Yeah, I like that. That's a fun start also. That was one that Pete pointed out in his video about like trying to correlate for the playoff weeks, and he pointed out that one specifically, that like the problem with taking Laporta there, and to be clear, I think that's a fun start and one that I will definitely do some of. But you are taking Laporta like pretty early. Like he's already, I feel like, a little bit of a reach where he goes in ADP, and then you have to reach a little bit further to get that build. But I still think it's worth it to do here and there. It's just one of those. It's like I don't want to be doing that kind of build every single time. But that's fun when you get Debo to fall, just fully game stack that. That's a fun build. All right, we're at the 5-6. No real correlations that I want to build in just yet, I don't think. I guess I could take my rare Jaden Reed share. I don't hate James Cook here. I also don't have a tight end. I do like Kyle Pitts, and I don't have an elite tight end yet. All right, Kyle Pitts. 4 receivers and a tight end to start. Maybe I should have just let him fall there because I do have a lot of Kyle Pitts, and I'm trying to be more like, I have so many elite tight end builds. I kind of feel like I need to start doing a little bit more of the like 3 late tight ends instead. So maybe that was a good spot for, I could have taken something a little bit different than my usual build. Also, do want to have some shares of Jaden Reed. I just read a thread this morning. I forget who it was, but somebody on Twitter made a thread about the Green Bay receivers, and Jaden Reed was the one that he came out as the like likeliest to be the wide receiver 1, which is obviously probably true. He's going like the wide receiver 1, and I always forego Jaden Reed and take the later guys. But do want to have some exposure because he is still the likeliest wide receiver 1 in a very good offense. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you don't necessarily need him to be the tight end 1. Like, because you took him as the tight end 1, you don't need him to be the tight end 1 just because you took him there. You take him as a tight end 1 in part because maybe you think his floor is tight end 3. So like there is, you are trying to bet on upside, but also in the early rounds, you're also just trying to get a high floor. So yeah, even if you take him as a tight end 1, I don't think you necessarily need him to be the tight end 1 to be a good pick there. I have not been playing a ton of MLB DFS, like at all this year. For whatever reason, I've just been um, focused more on like pick six. So I've been doing a lot of like NBA pick six. Um, I've actually been doing a lot of PGA and UFC pick six as well. So just MLB. I had a really tough year last year, and maybe the year before also. I can't remember. I had a really good year and then a really bad year. I think I had the past 2 years have been losing years for me in MLB DFS, which I think is largely just variance. I don't really think the field has gotten that much better. I think it's probably gotten a little bit better, but I think it's largely just variance. But yeah, I've kind of just haven't had the itch to play MLB DFS as much recently. I also like when I do play MLB, I'm a little bit more inclined to do underdog dailies because I think that there is probably more edge there right now than DFS. Like everybody playing DFS is stacking up. I don't you don't see that as much in the underdog dailies, so I end up just I don't know finding that to be a little bit more interesting, and I think there's just more edge in the underdog dailies for MLB right now than MLB DFS. It is still like I do actually love playing MLB DFS when I do play it. So yeah, for whatever reason, I've just been more focused on other sports this spring, but I'll probably get back into it at some point. All right, coming on my pick at 67. I have four receivers and a tight end, no running backs. I do like Kenneth Walker quite a bit. I could also add Jordan Addison onto my stack or take Joe Burrow. I think I'm going to. Man, this is tough. I'm going to go Jordan Addison on my stack. That was really tough. I like Kenneth Walker quite a bit there, but I like adding Jordan Addison onto that stack. Now I'm going to star up Kenneth Walker, Joe Burrow. If one of them falls back to me, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, I can throw on Aaron Jones onto my Minnesota stack. So I think I've got some good outs here. Aaron Jones goes. Might not get to my outs. But yeah, I've got some good options here. Could always go to my go to Bindles's or Scott Barrett's Deontay Johnson with my next pick. Jim asks, tight end question, why is Kyle Pitts going 25 picks before Jake Ferguson? I think that's a fair question. I think Jake Ferguson is like I think Kyle Pitts is like he has the pedigree that kind of excites people a little bit more. Like I don't think it's he's probably a 25 better spot, 25 spots better pick. He is also like it's more fun, I think, in part because like he has the pedigree. We haven't quite seen it, but it's like we can kind of envision like the Kyle Pitts tight end one. It's harder to envision that with Jake Ferguson. I think that just we believe in the talent for Kyle Pitts more than Jake Ferguson. But probably need to factor in the opportunities that Jake Ferguson and like we have actually seen it from Jake Ferguson a little bit more from Kyle Pitts. So I take a lot of both of them. I consider them both to be elite tight ends. I like Kyle Pitts quite a bit, but yeah, I do think Jake Ferguson very strong pick where he's going in drafts. So no issue if you want to rank Ferguson higher. Yeah, that's the thing about MLB DFS. It's really fun when you're doing well. It's not as fun when you keep having a sweat and then some random home run knocks you out of first, or just not having a sweat. It's just not fun in MLB DFS. I do think the field has gotten better. I said I'm not sure the field. I do think the field has gotten at least somewhat better. All right, I'm taking my Burrow stack. So Burrow, quarterback one, paired up with T. Higgins. So hopefully T. Higgins stays in Cincinnati for the sake of this. And I think he will. I think that's by far the likelier scenario. CD is more threatening competition than Drake London, and Pitt's athletic profile is nutty. Still the highest graded tight end press. But yeah, so that's a good, well said by Benjamin. Yeah, and then the counterpoint from Jim, Dallas also doesn't have someone like Bijan is also true. I think it's a fun. They're both fun offenses, but Dallas is we've seen it already, so I think people are excited to see the Atlanta offense that we just haven't seen really take off yet. And I think a lot of us are making the bet that the Atlanta offense is going to take off this year with new coaching, with a new quarterback, just going to completely just go off the rails this year. In a good way, off the rails. So I think a lot of us are just like wanting to make that bet. It's more fun to just kind of envision what it could be. Whereas it might be a scenario. It's like Kyle Pitts could be anything. He could even be Jake Ferguson. That might be kind of what we're hoping for with Kyle Pitts. But I think there is a little bit more upside. He just has that athletic profile. I think there's maybe more upside in Kyle Pitts, but Jake Ferguson probably the safer floor. Fish Finders goes with Jordan Love. I bet John was hoping to get Jordan Love after taking Christian Watson and Jaden Reed. That's so getting completely unstacked Jordan Love. I mean, can always come back and backstack him later on. But yeah, it's a tough run out for John. John also has so John's gonna have a lot of secondary correlations. Already has a lot of secondary correlations because he has AJ Brown with Saquon Barkley, and then didn't get Jalen Hurts to fall back to him at 34. Jalen Hurts goes one pick before him, and then he takes Jaden Reed and Christian Watson. Jordan Love goes right before him. He took Travis Kelce. Mahomes goes before him. So John not getting the best runouts with his stack attempts, assuming that that's what he's trying to do, which I feel comfortable that that's probably what he's trying to do with Green Bay. John gets Dak. Speaking of Jake Ferguson, still available here. Maybe CLN will take him. Oh, we have the same build, CLN 1051. So we have kind of the same needs where it's like Jake Ferguson, fun pick here, but also probably need to start taking some running backs soon. Do I want to do it? Do I want Ferguson here? I'm torn whether I should just take a running back. Yeah, I'm just going to finish my... No, I'm going to do something different. I'm not going to take Ferguson. I'm going to go Zamir White. Haven't taken a ton of Zamir White. Want to take some shots here and there. In part because I obviously already made the bet on Kyle Pitts, and I feel like frequently when I like go one or the other, I either go double elite tight end or I just push it to the end, and I want to be more like probably the correct approach, which is take one elite and then wait on your second tight end is probably actually a better approach. So I'm trying to switch up my builds a little bit. Is part of the reason I passed on Ferguson there. Yeah, I think that's fair. Taking more Ferguson at cost. Correct. Yeah, Bowers might be higher rated than Pitts. I think I have heard that in some places. Catch me up on the build. Yeah, I'll tell you what I have. And John confirming that he did in fact has gotten sniped a few times already. All right, so I am sitting at Joe Burrow at quarterback, Zamir White at running back. At wide receiver, I have Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, Malik Neighbors, T. Higgins, and Jordan Addison. And then at tight end, I have Kyle Pitts is the team so far. So 1-1, 5-1. Probably need to start taking some running backs here. I don't think I'm probably going to wait a little while on quarterback at this point. Just going to have to hammer some running backs, and I like the running backs in this range. This is a very strong running back range. Of course, I also have one consideration here would be, did he go already? Would be Cortland Sutton for the bring back on my Cincinnati stack, but plenty of ways to do the Denver bring back on a Cincinnati stack if you if that is something that you want to do. Yeah, something went 89. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go running back here. I have Zamir White by week 10. I could also have gone Brock Bowers here, but I'm going to go for some running backs. Could also do Javonte Williams. I haven't been doing a ton. I've been making bets on the later guys for Denver. No, I'm going to go Tony Pollard. I'm going to continue to make bets on the later Denver running backs. I don't want to completely fade Javonte Williams because there are some very sharp people who are really into it. I'm more excited about the value running backs in the late rounds for Denver because I'm not convinced that Javonte Williams is going to be the guy this year. Yeah, John getting sniped I think 3 times already in like the first 8 rounds is pretty nuts. Yeah, Jaleel Mims later, very easy to do. I've still drafted some Troy Franklin, which maybe is just a big mistake. I heard I think Scott actually compared him to like he's basically new Mims. So like we're taking the rookie that has kind of the same profile as Mims. I guess I just people were really into him coming into the draft. So I've still been like hard to shake my priors on what I had heard about Troy Franklin, which is this guy's going to be awesome. He's going to be a round 1 receiver. People were really high on him. And then, of course, he falls in the draft to Denver. Denver also a team that I'm sort of betting on this year to some extent. Like I'm drafting a lot of Denver players in general. But I probably need to be doing more Mims instead of all the Troy Franklin I've drafted. Yeah, I think David says it well. I'm not an anti-Franklin, but why take him ahead of the sophomore second rounder, I think is perfectly said. And it's only because we got jerked around by Peyton so much last year that it's like, all right, well, maybe Peyton just doesn't believe in him. He kept saying we got to get this guy more involved and then just not doing it. So I think there's part of me that's like, for whatever reason, Peyton didn't seem to love Mims. But yeah, he probably a better bet than Troy Franklin. Any guys you see as potentially this year's Rashad Penny looks like a good spot, gets lots of interest, and then gives you 0. Yeah, we had a few of those guys last year. That's a good question. Probably, I mean, do rookies count? Because there are a bunch of those rookies that I think it's probably going to happen. I don't know who, but I think there are a lot of rookies that we are drafting that could very well end up as 0s, rookie running backs. As far as veterans, let me think. I mean, I'm taking a ton of Jaleel McLaughlin, but would it be that shocking if he ends up being one of those guys? Not really. I don't think it's the case. I think he's more likely to be the RB1 than complete 0 without an injury, obviously. But I also don't think it's impossible. All right, Brian Robinson was going to be my pick there. I think, Gus Edwards there. Yeah, I was going to say Chase Brown, but I actually think that I like Gus Edwards. Oh, but he has the same bye as Tony Pollard. So maybe I break the tie there to Chase Brown. Also trying to get a little bit more J.K. Dobbins into my portfolio. So passing on Gus kind of makes me feel better about a later J.K. Dobbins pick potentially. Let's look at the running backs. Who on the list of running backs is very live to give us a 0? I mean, Dowdle certainly is like I think that he's more likely to be Dallas's wide receiver running back 1 than a 0. But I also don't think it's that out of the question that they trade for a Khalil Herbert or something, and then it's just Herbert and Zeke and Dowdle is a major afterthought. But again, I've been drafting a ton of him. I think he's more likely to be Dallas's RB1. Vidal certainly in that camp of could be a 0. Bucky Irving, Tyrone Tracy. I think all these guys could be 0s. JK, yep, certainly could be. Okay, yeah, not the rookies. Yeah, if the rookies don't count. Um, yeah, I don't think I drafted a ton of Rashad Penny last year. I had a lot of the other, like Leonard Fournette. I think I had a good amount of. Sadly for me, the running back in that situation. Actually, let me make my pick first. Oh, Gus Edwards still here. So here, I think I just say screw it. I'm just going to take Gus Edwards maybe because I do. I'm making the bet on Gus Edwards this year. Yeah, I'm just going to do it. Yeah, I think J.K. Dobbins is a good example of that. Somebody who could be a total zero. Um, Roshan Johnson, if Khalil Herbert doesn't get traded, I think could be in that camp of a guy who's getting drafted in just about every draft and might not be anything. I'm trying to think of like, do we have those veteran running backs this year that are just not that aren't on teams like we had last year, like free agents that didn't end up signing anywhere, like a Fournette. I don't think there's any that I'm drafting this year. I think I know which team every running back that I'm drafting is on this year. So I don't consider regular season schedule, which might be a mistake. That is something that right now I'm not factoring in regular season schedule. It's one of those things that at some point during the summer I'll probably read something about how this team has a great regular season schedule or this team has a horrible regular season schedule, and I'll say, yeah, that's a good point. I should probably factor that in and factor in a little bit. As of right now, not a huge factor for me, largely because I think it's so hard to predict defenses year over year, especially in May. It'll be in August maybe we'll get a better sense of which defenses are going to be the strongest this year. But as of right now, it's just so hard to predict the schedule. We can look at team totals now. I guess they have game totals up, so we can do it to some extent. But yeah, not has not a huge, maybe a leak in my game that I don't look at it a little bit more. I could go Dowdle here, Charbonnet, Lloyd, Jermaine Burton, part of the stack. Hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna throw Burton onto the stack. Probably may have been able to get him with my next pick, but he is on an existing stack. I was thinking I could go. Um, Wait, did Cousins go now? I thought Cousins was available to me. Did he just go after me? Yeah, okay. He went one pick. I was thinking about Cousins. I've also seen Cousins fall a lot recently, so I thought I can push that potentially. Um, if Dowdle falls, I'll take Dowdle or Lloyd or Charbonnet. All look good. Could also take another one of these rookie receivers. I guess I could take Muth. I haven't taken a ton of Muth, and I've seen a lot of and I see TM Longacre probably maybe setting up that stack. Um, I have seen a lot of buzz on Muth recently that has me reconsidering. Like maybe he is a better bet than I have been giving him credit for. Always fun to take him and then say things like the Muth is Luth. But yeah, I have not been doing so. Yeah, and this is exactly like Roshan Johnson. Like Roshan could be a zero. I guess the same is true of Khalil Herbert, but it feels more likely to me that Roshan is a zero. Gus is a smash. Yeah, I really like Gus this year. Yeah, I think this is right. Spurs just like, yeah, at some point I'll probably start worrying a little bit more, but as of right now, just so hard to predict. Jalen Polk. How do you guys feel about Jalen Polk? I feel like I've heard a few people recently talk him up. and it makes me think that I'm making a mistake by not drafting him more. I'm going to go with the Muth here. I think Musgrave there also. Yeah, I'm going Muth. Need some more Muth in my portfolio. Yeah, I did notice that you already had 2 tight ends, Mr. Mister. Yeah, it's not fun right now. It's it's frustrating for me as a Timberwolves fan the way the narratives flip so quickly. Like just how short of a like memory people have, whereas like they way outperformed expectations to get to where they are. Players playing like heroes in the playoffs, and now people are like, oh, Ant has tarnished his reputation for forever because he slightly underperformed in a playoff series where he already had 2 great playoff series. He's slightly underperformed in the Western Conference Finals. I don't care. It's not changing my opinion of Ant at all. I think he is that dude. Ant is just him. But he's young. Michael Jordan lost some playoff series early in his career. Also, Ant is what is he, 22, 23? Just I'm not worried about Ant. Even Cat. Like I'm not the biggest Cat apologist in the world, but I think he played well. In the playoffs in general until this series, not having his best series. I hate the way the narrative flips so much. And it is, to me, it's mostly people who just don't watch a lot of basketball. Suddenly they're watching basketball and they're firing off hot takes. And it's just, it's obnoxious to me that people want to fire off all these hot takes about a sport they don't really watch, about a team they don't really watch. But that is also, I guess that comes with a team that you don't see on national TV that often making it to the Western Conference Finals. It's going to be a lot of people watching them for the first time. So unfortunate that they're not doing well. But to me, it's kind of like the same as, the people who are like, oh, LeBron sucks because he's lost in the finals 5 times or whatever it is, where it's like, no, he's good because he made it to the finals so many times. Like, it's impressive to make it to the finals. So it's the same kind of argument as like, oh, they're bad. They're bad when the spotlight is on them. Well, the spotlight has been on them for several weeks now, and they've been crushing. It's just hard to crush for months on end. All right. I feel like I can take whatever position I want here. Throw Ty Chandler onto my Viking stack. Makes some sense to me. Could also throw Marvin Mims on there as the bring back to my Burrow stack. I'm going to do Chandler. I'm going to do Chandler for this one. Either of those would have made sense, though, I think. Had a Tyreek Waddle double once some guy reached and sniped. Yeah, that's unstack Tua as your quarterback 2 doesn't make any sense. Has happened to me more than once. It's actually happened to me. I don't remember who it was, but I had a really nice double stack built out, and then somebody took an unstacked quarterback 3 when they had Josh Allen as their quarterback 1. They had a third quarterback around pick like 110. It's just like, man, that sucks. But also, I know that your team is not going to be competitive to me, so probably good in the long term that we have teams making those kind of mistakes. Yeah, this is kind of my. I have no opinion on Polk as a college prospect, but it's just the offense scares me a little bit. So I do just more often make the bets on the guys you can take later, but that could be a mistake. If you just really believe in the talent of Polk, you should probably take him. So trying to be open minded to add in more of him to my portfolio. Yeah, this is part of it for me. It's just Javon Baker. I've heard this argument several times that Baker is just better than Polk. So I think that kind of scares me off of Polk a little bit. But trying to be open minded, listen to other people that like him, like Bindles was in on Polk. So I'm like, all right, maybe I need to be putting him into my portfolio more. Yeah, if May is that dude, he will be a great pick. All right. Got my tight ends. None of the players I had mentioned make their way back to me. Let's go after McCarthy here. Man, his ADP is further down than I thought it was. Could theoretically wait, but I don't see anybody else that is like a major need for me. I'm just going to do it. J.K. Dobbins, I want to make some bets on J.K. Dobbins now because it sounds like he's, recovering quickly. But I have Gus Edwards on this team, so I don't think it makes sense for me to double tap them. I guess you could, but I already have 5 running backs, and I feel pretty good about these running backs. Probably only taking one more. 6 wide receivers, so I'm pretty good at this point. I think I could be done at quarterback. Could take another if it makes sense for me. Could be done at tight end. I kind of feel like I'm set up well here, where I have like every position group I think could be done. So it can kind of just take values, take some correlations, whatever. I think. You see any positions that look incomplete here? Is this good enough? Burrow and McCarthy? I don't know. Could throw on a Gardner Minshew. I feel like he might be under-owned, like as a late round pick, or Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. All right, if the defense got worse, then yeah, sign me up for a bunch of Miami. JK, your most drafted player. That's interesting. I had been completely out on J.K. Dobbins. I'm more and more trying to think maybe I need to be in on J.K. Dobbins a little bit more than I have been. I kind of just like Khalil Herbert here. I like the upside of like he might just be in Chicago as the running back 2. He's probably the running back 2 in Chicago, and this is exactly the right place for him to go if he is the running back 2 in Chicago. Like he is the handcuff. That's what you're drafting him to be here. But what I like about Khalil Herbert here is I think he also has the out of he could be traded to Dallas, or he could be traded to somewhere where he's going to be just like an absolute smash pick here. So it's kind of like he's being drafted at what I consider to be his floor. So I really like him as a late round pick just from the contingent value of if he gets traded somewhere where he has a better role. And I think he's good enough to be an RB1 on a lot of teams. So if he gets traded to one of those teams, I love that. Or just he obviously has the same contingent value as any RB2 on any team. If the RB1 goes down, he'll have a huge role, obviously. Now, of course, he does have the Roschon Johnson is there, so maybe he's not the clear-cut RB2 there. So the floor is maybe not quite as high as if we didn't have the Roschon Johnson concerns, but I think he's probably the RB2 there, regardless, with upside if he gets traded. So I like Khalil Herbert as a late-round pick. All right, so I have 2 more picks. I'm at 2 quarterbacks, 6 running backs, 6 receivers, 2 tight ends. So I think that I would probably like one more receiver here, but I took 5 receivers through pick 67. So did go, in on receivers pretty early. Don't necessarily need to add another one. I don't hate Justin Fields as like a what if he ends up starting the second half of the season pick and rushing for 100 yards a game. I actually don't hate this Mad Sox. Benefit twice from the trade. I'm debating. Maybe I'll consider it. I've thought about it before. Doing the Roschon Khalil Herbert double tap. Screw it. Let's do it. It gives you one fewer out, but one more nuclear out. like if Khalil Herbert gets, I mean, still Roshan would be the RB2, so maybe not that nuclear of an out, but both could benefit in a big way if Khalil Herbert is traded. So that would be fun. That would be like, man, this team is going to look real good if Khalil Herbert gets traded. So I don't hate that. Still, I think could add any position here. Probably not running back. I'm probably done at running back with 7 on the team now. But any other position I think is pretty live here. Could go Fields, could go Jones, Russ, Minshew. If I want another quarterback, I'll think about that. Because I've got stacks with all 4 of those. Do I have any Denver? I guess I could throw a Josh Reynolds on there for a Denver bring back. I don't really think there's any. You go Bo Melton, I guess, from the Packers, but no Packers that I really want to be taking this late. I don't think. I guess if Tucker Kraft. Looks like he's gone anyway. But he's somebody you can consider in the 18th round as a bring back for your Viking stack. Yeah, he went. Okay. Let's just go mega. Let's just take every single player on the Bears and hope things go really weird. Probably Brandon Powell. Wide receiver 3 for the Vikings. Not totally clear at this point. What do I want here? I think I'm just going to call it good with my quarterbacks with 2. Probably go Josh Reynolds here for the Cincinnati bring back. I don't have a ton of Reynolds. Don't think he was great last year. I looked at the Fantasy Points data suite to kind of analyze, and I went in thinking like Josh Reynolds was actually pretty good last year. Like he's a veteran receiver, he'll be better than people are giving him credit for. And then I looked at it and I was like, oh, he was not as good as I thought he was. Like looking at, I want to say yards per route run or something, he was like bottom half. I forget what the numbers were, but I definitely looked and was like, all right, he's not as good as I thought he was. I thought he kind of overperformed expectations last year in Detroit, and that was not really the case. But still kind of an ambiguous receiver room in Denver. Cortland Sutton could get traded. Obviously, Jerry Jeudy already traded. So very good potential to have opportunities there in Denver. So it makes sense when you've got either you're drafting Bo Nix or you're taking Cincinnati and need a bring back. I think Josh Reynolds a perfectly fine round 18 bet there. Yeah, Tyler says it perfectly. Reynolds, cromulent 18 round pick as a bring back. Yep. Exactly right. Makes sense on this team. All right, Chris, bring us home. All right, so I'll look at all of the teams of people who were here with us. Starting with Chris, had the 101. Takes Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. That's a fun quarterback room. Both who fell significantly in the first draft we did here, but takes them around ADP. Definitely fair values there. Goes McCaffrey, Montgomery, Eckler, Charbonnet, Jaleel McLaughlin at running back. So only 5 running backs. I think that's good though. You got McCaffrey obviously going anchor RB, Montgomery pretty safe RB2, and you got kind of the fun Jaleel McLaughlin, Zach Charbonnet fine, Austin Eckler could make a comeback. Wide receiver as Deebo Samuel, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Brian Thomas, Jacoby Myers, Luke McCaffrey, Tyler Boyd, Khalif Raymond, Michael Thomas. Feels like a lot of wide receivers. And then a tight end, Sam Laporta and Ben Sinnott. Yeah, nine receivers, so 2-5-9-2 build here. So on Chicago for that stack, you got Keenan Allen, just Keenan Allen, and then Jaden Daniels with Terry McLaurin and Luke McCaffrey and Ben Sinnott. So really did go all in on that Washington stack along with Austin Eckler there as well. So that's kind of fun. Major stacking of Washington. Looks like a really good team there for snatch catchers. We got Mr. in here. Lamar Jackson and Bryce Young. I like that quarterback room. You go with the elite and then wait to draft make a bet on the second quarterback. He has Jonathan Brooks as part of that Bryce Young stack, Jalen Warren, James Conner, Rico Dowdle, Bucky Irving, CEH. At wide receiver, he has CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks, Roman Wilson, Tez Walker, Jalen McMillan. And then at tight end, he has Mark Andrews and Dalton Schultz. So with Lamar, he has nobody. I thought I saw Baltimore. With Lamar, he has Tez Walker and Mark Andrews. And then with Bryce Young, he has Jonathan Brooks and Deontay Johnson. Just those two. Yeah, looks good. CLN in here. Goes Anthony Richardson and Deshaun Watson at quarterback. Strong quarterback room. DeAndre Swift, Raheem Mostert, Brian Robinson, Marshawn Lloyd, Ray Davis, Deontay Foreman at running back. Strong running back room. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Brandon Ayuk, Michael Pittman, Tank Dell, Keon Coleman, Jerry Jeudy, Josh Downs. And then at tight end, he has George Kittle, Isaiah Likely, and Noah Fant. Yeah, this looks like a really, really strong team. Also, Anthony Richardson, I feel like I have not taken a ton of Anthony Richardson this year after being in on him last year. And I forget, maybe Hayden Winks posted a stat. Somebody posted a stat about like top 5 finishes for quarterbacks and like percentage of games with top 5. And it was like he was like a top 5 quarterback in 2 of his 4-week starters or something. Like it's easy to forget how good Anthony Richardson was when he played because he was just hurt both like for most of the season, but also like in game he was hurt multiple times. So it's easy to forget how good he is when he plays. And like we're betting on upside. Nobody has more upside than Anthony Richardson. I don't think. I think he has same kind of upside as literally any other quarterback in the entire, including Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Like he's in that tier as far as upside. Obviously, a little bit less likely to hit that upside than those guys, but I do like Anthony Richardson. I feel like I need to be buying in a little bit more. I think that I've been out mostly because I don't love Pittman at cost, and I usually wait and take quarterbacks when I already have their stacking partners. But I think I need to kind of get out of that mindset and maybe take a little bit more Anthony Richardson and do throw on the Josh Downs, the AD Mitchell, the kind of back stacks for Indy. John in this one as well. Of course, we saw getting sniped left and right early on, but John ends up with Dak Prescott and Derek Carr as his quarterbacks. Saquon Barkley, Joe Mixon, Zeke Elliott, Kamani Vidal, Damian Pierce as his running backs. At wide receiver, he has A.J. Brown, Cooper Kupp, Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, Khalil Shakir, Rashid Shaheed, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, Jalen Tolbert. And then at tight end, he has Travis Kelce and Chig Okonkwo. So he has Dak Prescott with Zeke Elliott and Jalen Tolbert, just those two. So that was a take the quarterback, break glass in case of emergency, and then backstack later kind of pick. And then gets Derek Carr late to add to his Rashid Shaheed stack. Yeah, definitely puts you in a tough position when you take a bunch of like early stacking options at wide receiver, and tight end who you think you're going to be able to stack up with a quarterback, and then gets sniped multiple times. It kind of puts you in a tough spot for the late stack. Did that happen with Carolina here too? He takes Xavier Legette and Adam Thielen. Where did Bryce go? Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen, probably expected to. Oh, so he didn't take him on 159, so probably thought he'd be able to get Bryce. Yeah, and then gets sniped on Bryce Young a little bit ahead of ADP also, so ends up with Derek Carr. So not probably the quarterback room that you want with Dak Prescott and Derek Carr. It doesn't feel good, but certainly could work out. Dak Prescott was pretty damn good last year. Could just be a quarterback one, and Derek Carr, fills in here or there. So it could work out. But yeah, it doesn't appear that was what John was trying to do. Kind of forced into that build by getting sniped left and right. All right. Yeah, that's really nice. having all those correlations in the playoffs. Hard to see that sometimes. All right, I think that is it for the draft today. I got to go, walk the dog, prepare for the softball, get my head in the game for pitching tonight, and of course, then the Timberwolves right after. I'm going to miss the beginning of the Timberwolves game for softball, which is going to be tough. But if they win this game, then we're going to have more games anyway. So, going to be a fun night. Going to softball, going to the bar to watch Timberwolves. Looking forward to that tonight. But for now, for you, if you could, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. If you want to get notifications when I go live, turn on, hit the notification bell. And of course, join the Flannelverse Discord, link in the description below, trying to grow the Discord. Thank you all very much for hanging out with me, drafting with me. Yeah, I'm totally going to throw a no-hitter. Absolutely. Ant-Man going 35-9-9. Let's go 35-10-10 just because it's more fun. Get that triple-double. All right. Thank you guys. This was a lot of fun. I will catch you next time.